How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to K6 Outdoors. Wanted to make a quick video today. It's getting cold out, and I mentioned before in some of these previous videos about my electric heater up here. And I wanted to spend a few minutes. I'll go through a few details on it and some of the features of this specific heater, whether or not I would recommend it to you or not. And we'll go from there. So stick around. First off, I'd like to mention, obviously this isn't the cheapest route you can go. I chose to go electric just so I could avoid the issues of having to get a separate LP tank and to avoid the fluctuations within LP prices during the wintertime. This Eco model, this is the King ECO2S. They sell it in many different locations, but I purchased mine at my local Menards. To be specific, this is the KB24071B2 Eco. This is the one that's rated at 7,500 watts. And up on the front here, you'll see there's a mode button, a start button, a temperature up and down button, and then here in the middle, your temp. The lowest this thermostat will go is 45 degrees. And it says it will effectively heat 700 square feet. So I had this installed in my 24 by 24 shop. And when it's negative 20 degrees outside, I can easily heat this up here to 70 degrees inside. Is it gonna cycle more often? Yes, but I mean, obviously if you want it to be comfortable out here, it will do a significant job at that. It's not gonna be quite as instantaneous heat as you would expect with a larger LP furnace. It will do a good job of maintaining a working temperature that's comfortable in your area. I have R13 in my exterior walls, an insulated garage door, and I have R30 in the attic above. So it does a good job at maintaining a good air temp inside the garage anyways, at a probably plus 20 degree range from what it is outside when it's really, really cold. Right now I have it set at 45 degrees just to keep things from freezing inside the garage. And it really hasn't cycled all that much. I don't think I even I maybe saw a $3, $4 uptick in my electrical bill. So I will cover some of that eco stuff here in a minute on this heater. But I just want to be upfront with you here. Maybe I can't give you a comparison to a cheaper heater, but I do know you could expect to spend a little more money on your efficiency when referencing how many kilowatt hours you'll be using each month. So let's dig into the meat and potatoes of this thing. On the front here, you've got your front louvers, which are adjustable. We call it adjustable. So they're just basically stamped steel, and you can turn them out, to where you want them to point to. Obviously, if you do that more than, a few times, they are just metal connections there. You're probably gonna snap those off. So I would call them maybe every once in a while adjustment. I don't think it's gonna be something you're wanting to adjust all the time. Here on the side, you have an intake for the fan. It does have a permanently lubricated fan inside of there. So you shouldn't have any problems with longevity of that fan. And on the back side, you also have intake. Inside there, you'll see the fan. And then here on the bottom is how you access your electrical plug-in. You'll see here, I have Romex running up in the ceiling and over to the breaker box, which is over there. So we'll cover that electrical requirements here in a minute. So by using a simple square bit, is one screw in the back here will put you right in the heart of the beast. Be careful taking this out. It will, depending upon how tight this bottom piece is, it will just fly down. But we'll go ahead and open this up so you guys can see inside of it. All right. So as you can see up in here, really the wires run in. They get wire knotted together in here. And that's really all it takes to put it together. It doesn't come with the large wire nuts. So the power feed comes in the back here through this, and then you actually have your connections there, and the rest of it runs up inside the unit. I'm not going to go into too much in detail here, but it's really not a whole lot to it. A few different breakers and circuit boards and such that run it and whatnot. So to attach it to the wall, you actually can hang it in several different configurations. I have mine set up. You put the bracket on the wall there, and then up above, you hook it onto that bracket, and it just hangs from the ceiling. Pretty quick and easy. It was a super simple install. It says a two-person lift, but if you wanted to be careful, you could probably get it up there by yourself. But with anything else, heat safety recommendations and get help when you need it. Because remember, your health is the most important thing in life. And without good health, you really can't do a whole lot. So be careful and get help when you need it. So just a few more specs on this thing. It has an overall height, so from the bottom here to the top, it has an overall height of 20.5 inches. Like I said, it takes electrical wire because it is an electric heater, and it is hardwired. So there's no plug you can use in this specific one. If you wanted to create your own extension plug in the back, feel free, but that's not how it's set up in this design, and it probably isn't the safest. They're calling this a forced induction heater because, you know, it's using heat coil with fan blowing on it. The overall depth of this unit, so across the back, is 14 inches. The overall weight of this unit is 36 pounds. Like I said, not massive by any means, but it is not the smallest heater on the market. But if you want some serious heating power, it does a great job. Like I said, 7,500 watts, and it can be mounted on the ceiling or on the wall. Like I said, the orientation of that bracket determines how you mount it. It has a heat output of 25,600 BTU per hour. Which I said it does a pretty good job in that regard. It does have a 2-stage heating function on the front here. So you'll see the high-low there. In eco mode, what it does, and I'll show you when it turns on how that functions, but it will maintain either in high or low automatically to kind of even out the wave of power usage, because on high setting it uses more wattage, so it uses more power, and on low setting it uses less wattage, which results in less power. Obviously higher, more heat, lower, less heat. So it may, you know, once it's up to operating temp, it may run on low setting to keep your garage, shop, anything, you know, your house really at optimal temperatures here. But when needed, it will pop up into high and it'll put off quite a bit of heat there for you. And I think you'll be pretty impressed with it. So like I said here, there's also a mode. We'll go through the settings here. So, you know, you have the hour adjustment for if you want to set a timer. You can do heat, you can do fan only by switching this. So you can run the fan in the summertime. And then you have just your temperature there. So there's a few different settings within this mode menu. Mention the adjustable louvers. Adjustable. I wouldn't really call them adjustable myself. Maybe a one-time adjustment. There's also a safety limit switch built into it, so it won't overheat and catch fire, which is extremely important. That front LED display. And then on this actual element side that they have the fins. So trying to help dissipate that heat off that element so you get optimal heat flow into your garage, shop, house, wherever you want to put it to maintain a more climate controlled area. And if you're like me and don't like using the buttons on the heater, thankfully it comes with a nice remote and bracket. So I mount mine over here, away from quite a little ways, probably, you know, we'll call it 12 feet. And I've got a nice bracket here, and it came with it. And then you all have your start, stop, turned on and off, your modes, and then your temperature selection. Here on the back, again, it shows you what each one of those means. So like I said, you'll see your temp up, down, your timer mode, what you're doing, you know, hours, how many, and then you have your heat mode or fan only mode. So if you want to run it in the summertime, you sure can. If you want to run heat in the summertime, you go for it. That's your life. This is a 32 amp heater and has a rating of 600 cubic feet per minute for this fan. I think it says on the box that it has a throw distance, so how far this fan will blow air out, around like 20 or 22 feet. I can stand almost clear across my garage and feel the heat throw out of the fan. Is it blowing my hair? Well, I don't have any hair to blow for one. No, it's not blowing it that hard, but you can feel air movement, which is important. And this is a 32 amp system. That's important for this next topic we'll talk about, which is the wiring. Keep in mind, you need to have this comply with your local and state regulations for electrical code, and then have this installed properly. This has Romex cable running from the heater up in the attic over to the fuse box here. And in the fuse box, it has the requirement here of a 40 amp breaker. So that is the size breaker you will need to make sure you're not blowing your breaker and that you're providing optimal protection for your unit, because you don't want to burn it up, burn your garage down, or anything like that. I'd say if you know how to use one of these fancy little powered screwdrivers, you probably can install this on the wall yourself, but pay attention to the instructions. You're going to need some lag screws. in order to get this up there mounted sufficiently. So let's take a moment. I'll turn it on here, turn it up, and that way you guys can hear the fan noise, how loud it is or isn't, which I think is relatively acceptable. And we'll go from there. So let's turn it up using the old remote control here. So arrow up, we'll turn it up, and I'll see it kick on. So you'll see on the front here, it's at high temp. I'm going to turn it down just a couple degrees so we can let it do its thing and go back and forth once it gets to high and low. So set it at 49 degrees. You'll see on the front that the high button is lit. Here, so you can hear a lot of this. This is standing about 5 feet away. You'll see how it does with the eco mode. It's going between high and it'll cycle back to low. It kind of goes back and forth between that to even that power curve out to reduce energy consumption, because you're going from 7,500 watts down to 5,000 watts. Keep in mind, this is a single speed fan. So I'm standing across the garage. I'm probably about, well, look at the ground here. I'm 16 feet away, directly in front of the heater, and I can feel air movement. Like I said, it's not blowing my hair off, but you can feel the movement across the garage in this direction. They do talk about the proper way, well, they're calling the proper way to use these is to line them facing a wall. Well, the garage being as small as it is, I kind of like the idea of just pointing it straight across. I haven't had a problem with it in this particular configuration, so I'm gonna keep it this way for now, and it's actually out of the way on above my bar there, so it works pretty well. So you're probably wondering, is this worth the money? Is it worth the extra $200 over a cheaper brand? I mean, really, here's a couple different things to this, right? It is more efficient. It's going to use less power than another model. Like I said, between the fluctuations and how it utilizes the wattage, it is going to do a better job and not burn as much electricity out. That's very important. It is made out of steel. It's a very high quality built cabinet. I mean, it's pretty well built. Obviously, the hanger only holds back a couple of bolts, so it's going to move a little bit, which is expected. Which brings me to point number 2. I like how they have the flexibility of how you can hang it. You can hang it from the ceiling, you can hang it from the wall, and several different configurations. So it gives you good flexibility for when you want to work on stuff. The fact that it's got that nice sealed motor in there, it's going to last you longer, be more efficient, and you're going to use less power. I think the other part I really like about this too is the nice LED screen in the front. It gives you an actual temperature readout. Yeah, you can do very similar things with an actual thermostat, but it's nice to have it all built in with a wireless remote. So if you were, if this was mounted clear across the shop from where you were actually at, you can turn it on from over there with that wireless remote. And that does a really good job with that. And last but not least, I really like the fact that this heater is made in the good old US of A. According to their website, Seattle, Washington is their home place, and it's been there since 1958. So yeah, it's probably made with worldwide components, what isn't anymore, but it's nice to have that little peace of mind. That some of your money is going back to people here in the United States, and it's not all going overseas. So that extra couple of bucks, and that's worth it to me in that alone. So, but that's just my opinion. If you guys liked what you saw today, and you haven't already joined the YouTube family, go ahead and click on my little logo somewhere over here next to me. On my, your left side is where it's going to be. Click on that. It'll subscribe you to the channel. And like always, like I said, if you want to share this with some of your friends, family, someone you don't know, I don't care. They may like this content too. As we're just, like I said, we're trying to grow this YouTube family, as we're calling it here on K6 Outdoors. Trying to let me learn things the hard way, or buy things and waste my money the hard way, and maybe prevent you guys from having to do the same thing. So thanks again for tuning in. Until next time, I'll see ya.